Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Hauppauge Gaming's live stream podcast. My name's Dan, or Lights It Up. I'll be your host for this evening. Welcome, welcome. We are joined today by the awesome Revso. Rev, do you want to introduce yourself, bud?
You're right there. Yeah, I'm a live streamer exactly like Dan himself. My name's Revso, or Revso_, whichever one will go under by. I do a lot of live streaming. Don't do as much YouTube as I used to. I wish I could get back into YouTube, but ever since I've been live streaming, I can't get over the fact of talking to like everyone in the stream. So that's mainly what I am. I'm mainly a live streamer. And Dan, I know Dan's definitely wanted to be a partner, aren't you yourself?
Yeah, man, I'm trying to go for the partnership. It's a big hurdle to get over, though, isn't it, dude?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've been about a year now, so you get there, you will get there. I know you definitely will do. I would definitely say you're a big good streamer. So
Oh man,
we'll get there.
thanks.
Sorry, not. That's a good thing to stay there.
No, dude, you're absolutely awesome as well, man. I've checked out your channel as well. You've got how many followers now? You've got quite a few going now.
2,200. It's
That's
not
like-
as. It's still good, I suppose, but
It's like 10 times more than me, man. That's awesome.
I know. But you've only just started yourself, if you think about it.
That is
So-
true. That is true. That's true.
There you
Well,
go.
it's interesting that you mentioned the YouTube side of things as well. It's a shame that you don't do more of the YouTube. I would say that's my main platform, and Twitch supplements that. And they bounce off each other really well. They cross-pollinate with each other really, really well. So it's a shame. You should get back into YouTube, man. It's a nice little outlet as well. Pretty cool.
I suppose so. I mean, it always feels weird for me to actually just sit there and play a game.
Yeah.
It feels weird because I'm always looking to the right, trying to talk to the chat. I'm like, I don't know who to talk to. I'm talking to myself. That'll be it. So I
Yeah.
like talking to people. I think that's probably the reason why.
Absolutely.
So I like that, I think.
Speaking of talking to the chat, hello everyone in the chat. How are you all doing? Great to have you here. Thank you very much for joining us. Unfortunately, there were supposed to be 3 of us, but one of the other streamers couldn't make it, so apologies for that, guys. But let us know how you're doing. Great to have you here. You'll notice at the bottom of the screen as well, it says if you send feedback to streamteam@hauppauge.com, send a bit of feedback for there, you're entered into a chance to win some wristbands. So do feel free to do that if you've got a spare moment, guys. Is there anything else you want to mention really quickly, Revso, or should we just jump right in, mate?
Could just jump right in. It sounds like it.
Yeah, cool beans, cool beans.
As they
Right.
said about the bro love in the room just then, I think. Too much of it.
Oh, yes, yes, that's what we need. That's what we need, a bit of roll up. So, for our first topic, we are discussing the Kinect, which is quite hot in the news just now. So, Microsoft are getting rid of the Kinect in terms of the bundles that they sell the Xbox One with. And they say that could close the performance gap between PS4 and Xbox One because the Xbox One's Kinect, having that connected and using that takes up 10% of the graphical prowess of the Xbox One, I believe it is. Or I don't know the technical details too much, but getting rid of it could actually make it more powerful and close that performance gap. Have you got any thoughts on that at all, Rev? Or
I don't know. I don't really think they're really doing it because of that. Because when they first advertised it, they were advertising it like you really needed the Kinect, didn't they? They were saying, when we sell it, we want you to have the Kinect. We want you to have it on constantly, so it will help you with every game, pretty much, they said. But I don't think every game will allow you to have the Kinect on. But when was it? I think it was about a month ago. They were saying, what was they saying? They were saying you needed it, and we would never get rid of it. But now they wanted to get rid of it. It really confused me when they did that. I was like, I don't think they. No, I don't know. I think that was something to do with like what Sony's done with the camera.
yeah,
Like people are buying it if they want it. But yeah, that's my opinion on it. To be honest, I don't really have any more opinions on that. To be honest, that's my main opinion. I think they're just doing it just so we can get more money out of it now because they need it. I think, but they don't need it. But you know what I mean.
Well, picking up on what you just said there about the Sony's camera there, when consumers have something forced down their throat, they really don't like that. They get very, very
Exactly.
touchy about that. They hate that. But when they've got the option to get it, you're referring to the fact that Sony's camera skyrocketed when they took it out of the forced package.
Exactly, and it was selling well.
It was selling well. Absolutely, absolutely. I think Microsoft has finally accepted that the Kinect, there isn't a place for the Kinect in the market as much as they thought there was, because consumers don't want it. Gamers don't want it, really, not particularly. And that's why there is such a difference between Sony's soaring sales and Xbox One's sort of lagging behind, trying to be, you know, a Sony, you know? And that's what I think. But it's interesting that it could actually make games run at a higher resolution, or it might make them run at, I don't know, better frames. But I don't think the quality of the Xbox One is particularly meant to be bad anyway in the first place.
Exactly. Yeah. I hope. I'm not a Xbox hater. I prefer PlayStation, but I used to have an Xbox. But the thing is, so I never ever hate on the Xbox. I would, to be honest, it's like the Wii. To be honest, I would prefer it to get more sales. I would never say I don't want that company to go down a drain. Because Microsoft do so much stuff, you would never want them to go down a drain, would you?
No way.
To be honest. So it's like Sony. They have so many problems themselves recently. So with money problems, I wouldn't want them to go down a drain either. So it's just one of those things. You just don't want to force it. Well, as you just said, you don't want to force a product down their throat. The camera, I mean, the Kinect was forced down your throat. A lot of people will just say no. And that could probably, is it about like 3 million? They're ahead now. I don't know, how many is it now? It's about over 3 million or 2 million.
In terms of sales for the PS4?
Yeah, from the Xbox.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure on the exact figures actually, but I think it's
quite a lot.
It's quite a bit. It's meant to be quite a significant amount, definitely. Exactly. Yeah. Something else I wanted to say now, because I was looking at the chat and it prompted me to say something. But some people are saying Microsoft's backpedaled on almost every Xbox One thing that started out with. They lost their way midway through the Xbox 360. They realized during the Xbox 360, I think, that people didn't want the Kinect. Motion control stuff, even with the Wii, because we're going to go on to talk about this later on as well. Even with the Wii and with the PlayStation Eye and all these other motion control devices, it's notoriously difficult to develop games for. It's really difficult to develop games for. So it's just going down the drain because they're not making fantastic games that people want to get for it anyway. But
it's more of a little gimmick to a game. It's like when Mass Effect. Remember Mass Effect 3 came out? Did you ever play it?
I didn't play 3. I played 1 and 2.
Well, what they did with the Kinect, they were like, oh, buy it for the Kinect. It has special features. And you could like pretty much just shout at your screen like, go over there, go over here, fall back, stuff like that, or fire grenades, stuff like that. But the thing is, like, people kept saying that it wasn't working a lot of the times.
Yeah.
So it's stuff like that. It's just more of a little gimmick type of thing for games. So that's if, of course, the company wants to put the money into it just to advertise the Kinect. So I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't say the Kinect makes any games better, only if you want to have that shouting at your monitor or your TV experience. I don't think I would want to. I think people would call me a bit loony because I have my window open all the time. Me shouting it would be a bit weird.
Makes sense. Makes sense. It's the same. I've kind of got the same opinion with like VR and with other stuff as well. I don't think it's what gamers are really after. I think gamers like, particularly when you draw the line between casual and non-casual gamers, they like holding a controller and playing a game where they can look around and do all this without having to shout at the screen or turn their head and do this. I mean, that's just my sort of opinion on that. But are you happy with what I've discussed about that?
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with it. I was about to say I would prefer the controller in my hand than going like this all over the place.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Punching your screen like, I just broke the screen.
Or those Wii U problems where punching people in the face or throwing it through the monitor.
Oh yeah, the lawsuits with that. Yeah,
I still remember that.
They like properly beefed up the wrist straps after that because of that. So funny. Poor Nintendo, man. They've got it bad, haven't they, right now?
Sadly.
Oh dear. Right, so we've got for our next topic, we've got it's very, very similar to that previous one. Using Sony's playbook, Microsoft will attempt Xbox One's turnaround, and one of the big things about that initially was removing the always online feature, the DRM thing, DRM thing. So they already did that. They listened and they already did that. That was great. But now they are removing the Kinect as well, as we've just talked about. But there's also a few other things. There is the streaming service. It previously required the Gold Xbox Live membership, which you have to pay for, just to use streaming services that you might be paying for membership for as well, such as Netflix, such as Crunchyroll, all those sorts of things. So people on Xbox who wanted to watch Netflix stuff that they're paying a £5 or £6, £7 a month or whatever for, would have to pay for their Gold membership as well. And
exactly.
People did not like that. People did not like that. They piped up about that a lot. So that's one of the changes they're making as well. What do you think about that, man? And what do you think about some of these things that they're rolling out?
if you think about it, they were doing it back, you know, when it was before it was even released. They were doing exactly the same thing then. What was one of those things that they actually, I can't remember what it was. There was a lot of things that people were complaining about before it even came out. I can't remember what it was, but there were a few things before it came out. They said, okay, we're never going to remove it. But then as soon as the Xbox One actually came up, they actually removed it. Do you remember what I'm on about?
I think the always online thing was one of them.
Was it one of them?
Yeah, as in you had to be online to play your Xbox One.
That's probably one of. Oh, that was it. Yeah, you had to be online. Yeah. And then when they said something about one of the guys that actually doesn't work for them anymore said, well, go play the Xbox 360. And it was like, that's not a really good way to sell your Xbox or your console. Do you know what I mean? And then a lot of people said that probably could be the reason why he doesn't work for him anymore. So it's a really touchy subject, I think, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, people are saying in the chat, you know, they're realizing that people aren't quite as willing to part with their money these days. And what else have we got? So people who pay for Xbox Live Gold, like me, get less for our money. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree with that. Absolutely. And people feel cheated compared to the PS3 or the PS4, where you can use your streaming services for free because you've paid your subscription to those services. And getting rid of the Kinect will drop the price point of the Xbox One down to that of the PS4s, which will make it competitive again. That's an absolute bonus, because the full package being like $100 or, I don't know, £80 or £100 or whatever it is more expensive is a massive turn off for people. Money makes the world go round. It does. It's sad, but it's true, you know?
Exactly. Like if someone doesn't have an Xbox or any type of console and they're thinking, what type of a new console is coming out, I want to buy one. I mean, if they don't look up at all like these threads or anything like that, people bashing on the Xbox, bashing on the PS3, they were like, oh, that one's cheaper, I'll go for that one. So they're probably more likely going to go for the PS4 at that point, and that could have helped the sales. I'm not saying it would have, but that might have helped the sales. Like myself, I would prefer to buy a PlayStation only because of the fact the games that are coming on it. I mean, there's a lot of games that I would love to buy on the Xbox, but I wouldn't buy the Xbox just for those games. As you just said, I don't use Netflix much. Netflix much. I can't even speak. I don't use it much, but when I do use it, I use it on the PC. I don't want to spend another, as you said, however much for gold membership just to watch my program.
Yeah.
I think that's just a bit silly, to be honest.
You're already paying a subscription to do so.
Exactly. I just find that it's a bit odd. I suppose it's good for people that don't have a PC, but you would normally have a PC before you even do all that type of stuff anyway. Like Crunchyroll. I mean, I don't know how it all works for stuff like that. But yeah, exactly. I wouldn't want to spend that extra money. Stuff you've already got.
I absolutely agree, man. I couldn't agree with you more. It's actually something that I didn't know until that long ago, that to use streaming services which you pay subscriptions for, you actually do need gold membership. I didn't know that until relatively recently, and I think that's just a bit crazy. I do think that's a bit crazy. But we'll see what this dropping in price point does to the Xbox One. It'll be interesting to follow them because, like you say, Microsoft is this massive corporation, and I want to see them soar. I do want to see them soar. They do a lot of good in the world, absolutely. I'm running this PC on Windows, you know.
Exactly. Yeah, same.
You know? So we don't want to see them go down the can for any revenue, any avenue that they do go down. So we'll see how that plays out. It'll be interesting at least. It's funny in the article, a lot of the things it says, it quotes like Picasso and other people like that, and saying things like great artists steal, you know, good artists copy, great artists steal, things like that. So that's kind of what Microsoft is doing now with Sony, and back in the day they did it with Apple with a few things as well, picking out the best things and improving their service. But if you're happy with that, I was just about to say, all companies do the same thing, don't they? They copy from. It's like games; they copy things from each other. Companies copy from each other, as you said. Music copies from each other. So it happens everywhere. Okay.
Sweets, for instance. Let's just say it like that. Everything gets copied from someone, somewhere.
They do. They absolutely do. Someone said in the chat that the Bill Gates mentioned that he was cool with Microsoft selling off its games division, which is quite interesting as well. Very, very interesting. And other people have said, well, the PS3 when it debuted had plenty of problems as well. Yeah. You know, and that is true. You have to take it with a pinch of salt, because you don't know where we're going to be in 2 years' time and what's going to have happened. Everything might have changed, but you need to take it as it comes and see where we go with that. But if you're happy with that, we'll move on, dude.
Yeah, sure. Sorry.
No.
Quite a long time for that one. Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So we've got again. This moves quite nicely onto our next topic. Is motion control over? We very briefly mentioned it with the Kinect, with the PlayStation Eye, the PlayStation Move, all those different peripherals there, and obviously the Wii and the Wii U as well. Massive players in the motion control world. The Wii kind of started it all, really, didn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
What are your initial thoughts, your standout thoughts? Is motion control over?
I wouldn't say it is. I wouldn't say it is. Reason why I wouldn't say it is because there's like the Wii U. Every time I hear someone talk about the Wii U, they always praise. You know I've never had one. I've used one when I was at a game convention before.
Yeah.
But I can't remember what it's just the Wii U pad.
Yeah.
A lot of people are so happy with the controller itself. I mean, when I used it, I can't remember what game I played, but it was a really cool feature and everything like that. I mean, Watch Dogs is going to use it. I mean, think about that. Like, do you know much about Watch Dogs?
I know a tiny bit about it with the premise of the game and stuff.
They're going to be having like a app on your phone and everything like that, where it allows you to go against people online. Like, let's say I'm playing on my PS3, for instance, or PC. Someone on their phone is going to be versus me somewhere across the world. I mean, they're going to be trying to stop me, get me to like pretty much just kill me and everything like that, and stop me and everything like that on their phone. What's really mad. But with the Wii, it's like having that in the Wii. Do you know what I mean? It's like you have the whole feature on the Wii and on the screen. So to me, that seems really cool. So I wouldn't say it's gone. I know that's a bit different compared to, let's say, the Kinect, and how the Kinect works.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say it's gone just yet. It's a bit of a gimmick for now, but hopefully enough, they'll definitely get better.
The Wii, I love the idea of the Wii U's controller with the sort of tablet controller that we were talking about there, with how some games you can actually play the full game on that screen if you want to, and people can go back to watching TV or different little features like that, which is so cool. I think that's amazing, and like the thing that you mentioned with Watch Dogs there. But is that enough to make you go out and buy a Wii U to play that game when you've got a PS3 or you've got an Xbox 360 or you've got a PS4 or you've got an Xbox One? Is that enough to make you get a Wii U because you know you can play Watch Dogs like that, or you know you can, I don't know, you can play a game while someone watches TV? My argument for that is, someone wants to watch TV, I'll go play the game on a different TV, or they can watch TV on a different TV. You don't necessarily need to put all of these features in, and that won't make someone grab the console, not for that reason, you know.
It's the same thing with the Vita. The Vita does it with the PS4. Is it the PS? Yeah, the PS4, where you can switch from the PS4 game straight onto your handheld. And it is the PS4, isn't it, or the PS3?
Yeah, it's the PS4. Yeah.
That is amazing. When I saw, it's the same thing. Like that, those graphics could just go on your phone. I don't know how they do it, but I think that's really cool on how they've actually made that work. It's the same thing on the Wii. So I would definitely give a thumbs up to that. I wouldn't give a thumbs down for that.
Yeah,
but then
absolutely.
the Kinect, you could just pretty much shout at it to turn on.
Yeah.
The amount of, that's really it. I mean, I wouldn't want, as we said before, I wouldn't want to stand there and just be doing all this type of stuff and everything like that. I couldn't see myself doing that, to be honest. But depends if you really like that type of thing, to be honest.
Yeah. It's really interesting to get your perspective on it, and for us to talk about how interesting, motion controls can be. And the article's kind of saying, well, there were only a couple of hit games. So it was Just Dance, it was this, it was that. Just these few hit games made by the actual platforms themselves, like published by Nintendo and developed by Nintendo, and then the ones by Sony are the ones that have done well, because it links back to developing games for these motion controls. It's absolutely solid to do.
Exactly,
it's absolutely solid to do. And that's why none of them that came out were really in the spotlight at all. I mean, do you remember a game called Red Steel for the Wii?
I heard about it. Is that which one is that one again?
It's very much like GoldenEye, like Perfect Dark, a shooter, basically, but with motion control. So you swing your sword by messing around with your Wiimote and stuff,
Okay, yeah, I remember that, yeah.
And you aim at using the motion controls. Yeah, it was supposed to be a hell of a lot of fun. It was supposed to be really, really good, but it didn't do anywhere near as well as something like Wii Tennis or Wii Sports, and Wii Tennis is part of Wii Sports.
Exactly.
It's really, really difficult to develop for. And then if there are any hardware changes that roll out, such as the Wii Motion Plus, well, everyone who's just got the regular Wii with the regular Wiimote that doesn't have the Motion Plus on it, is all of a sudden they don't have this hardware, and now developers need to change the games that they're developing even more so now because there's new hardware that's coming out. So motion controls, there isn't one single language that everyone is speaking to develop for, and until that happens, it's never going to take off, and that's never going to happen until everyone, someone mentioned in the chat earlier on, until everyone has a Kinect in their household, everyone has a Wii in their household, everyone has PlayStation Move in their household. That's what I think. But how can you force that down people? It's kind of like a catch-22 situation, chicken or the egg, and it's frustrating because I'd love to see it work because there's so much going for it. But
it's like the 3D aspect. If you think about it, the 3D was exactly the same. They forced it down your throat, but no one really used it. I mean, how much did it cost for some of the stuff for 3D? Like the TVs were expensive as hell, weren't they?
Very expensive, and you have to wear ridiculous glasses as well.
Exactly, but it's the same type of thing. If you think about it, it's a gimmick. Again, another gimmick, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's how I would think about it. And I'll quickly say, I think the stream's gone a bit weird. I don't know if you've noticed that. Yeah.
I am on the article page. Does it keep buffering?
Yeah, it's been buffering the whole time for everyone, it looks like it.
Right, okay. Joe, do you want to ask people on stream if they've been buffering it the whole time?
I think it's okay for now.
Okie dokie. Guys, in the chat, can you let us know what's going on? Is the stream okay? Does it keep stopping to buffer, or are we good? Yes. Are we A-okay?
Oh, we're back. We're cool.
It says loading video for me now. Did it actually stop and start up again? I think we're back.
Yep, we're back. We're cool. We're good.
Oh, good. Oh, someone said 158 views down to 9. Damn.
I know. It just suddenly changed. That was weird, wasn't it?
I think it fluctuated. I think it happens to me sometimes when there's a massive spike in my internet connection. It will literally drop the stream straight away and then come back up. But I think we're all good.
Yeah, that's cool now. All right, yes, so there we go. Hopefully no one missed what we were just talking about just then.
Yeah, this massive, amazing conversation about motion controls, man. Cool. It says really interestingly on the article as well that people much prefer touch controls, actually. Like, if you think about that, with people playing on their iPad, playing stupid little games like Flappy Bird and playing on their iPhones and on their Android devices and stuff like that, now that is taking off. Touch games.
It's good, yeah. It is. Definitely, people, as you just said, with the iPhones, if they're used to using their hands on the controller, and then they're like, oh, that seems pretty cool. Like the PlayStation controller, you've got it at the front. And then on the Vita, you have it on the back. So there a lot of those little gimmicks I think Sony definitely picked up on. So they even have their own phone, if you think about it. So it's a touchscreen phone. So, of course, they're taking those little gimmicks and adding it to their own controllers. They took a big step, though, with that, though, didn't they?
Yeah.
So absolutely. I think that definitely went really well. So hopefully enough that will... I mean, they haven't got many games at the moment that, like, use the touchscreen on the front of the controller. So hopefully enough, they will actually add it into more of their... They'll probably do it in, like, their exclusive games. I think that would mainly be it. But hopefully enough, fingers crossed, because a lot of people keep saying the PlayStation needs the games, same with Xbox, but you can't. They've only just came out, so fingers crossed it will just start spiking back up again, like in the next 2 years or something like that. You start having all your games, but you just have to wait for it, to be honest.
Yeah.
So you just have to wait now.
I just think that touchscreen games have already pretty much put the stake in motion controls. VR's coming out soon. Or lots of stuff has been shown with the Oculus Rift, with Sony's Morpheus project as well, and I can't see motion controls carrying on. To be honest with you, I cannot see it carrying on. But if you're happy with that, we can move on, Rev. Or
yeah, sure. I was about to say, as you just said as well about the Oculus Rift and everything like that. A lot of people don't like the fact that Facebook's taken over it now.
Yes.
But hopefully, I mean. Facebook in your eyes, that'd be a bit of an odd one. But a lot of people would like them for flying games, racing games. They wouldn't. I don't think you'd really want to add it to a lot of type of games, but it would be nice to have something. Let's say if you're playing a simulator type of game or something like that, or a horror game, for instance, like Outlast. God. Have you played Outlast before?
I have played Outlast.
Playing Outlast with an Oculus Rift
is a new level of terror.
Yeah, I mean, just those type of games, you're just not good. You won't even last. I mean, did you ever play like the games like Doom or anything like that? The horror games. playing those type of games with the heads, that on your face, the proper immersive. That's the only good thing I could think about them. But apart from that, then that's really it. To be honest, there would be the games that I'd play on. But the price that they're asking for is a bit steep at the moment. I think I would never pay it's over £1,000 or something like that, isn't it?
I wouldn't be surprised. It's a
bit ridiculous. I wouldn't pay that much at the moment until it definitely drops down into like a, I don't know. How much would you pay for one?
I don't think I would get one until they find a reasonable way to make it wireless. I think because you have cables coming out of you like you're something out of the Matrix, you know, and it's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. The whole idea of it, you're supposed to turn your head and look behind you and stuff, but you can't actually do a 360 because if you were to do that, you would unplug everything. And you know, I think there's a lot that needs to go into it. I think they need to get rid of the nausea problems as well. People get incredibly sick after playing it for an hour. Someone said $200 in the chat there. I thought it would be more. $200 sounds like quite a low price point, actually. I thought
that is actually really low.
That's really low. I thought for that sort of tech, you'd be talking about quite a lot more, personally. But I don't know enough about it, I'll be honest.
Nor do I. I remember that's how much the beta, you know, when it first got released, like when they were giving it out to the public, it was like over 1,000 at that point. That's like what I was thinking about back then, but I'm not sure about now. So either way, I can't wait to see what they actually do with it. Yeah, there you go.
Cool man. By the way, everyone in the chat, folks, hi, how you all doing? Welcome here. If you've just arrived, my name's Dan. We've got Rev over here, and if you have any feedback for this podcast, folks, feel free to send it to streamteam@hauppauge.com for your chance to win some wristbands. So keep watching, send your feedback over, and there's a surprise announcement later that we'll be telling you guys. So we'll keep you on your toes for that. Are you happy with everything we said about motion controls and stuff, dude?
As Casey said, that's how much they would pay. There you go.
Right. That's how much I would spend. Right. Okay. That's how much Casey would spend. Right. I'm with you. Cool. Okay. This puts us nicely onto our next topic. A bit more about the Wii U. Says one game could save the Wii U. Iwata says one game could save the Wii U. So, well, they're already admitting that it needs saving. That's something to take a note of. And I think everyone is very aware of Nintendo's situation, the amount of bad press they've had recently with things going wrong, with the lack of sales figures and stuff like that. And they mentioned right at the bottom of the article, Pokemon Red and Pokemon Blue, the 5th best-selling game of all time across all platforms. So they would need one of those style of games. They've got the new Mario Kart coming out, Mario Kart 8. Is that out already or coming out?
I've seen reviews of it, so it might be out. I'm not sure. I've been seeing reviews, so...
Okay.
So.
They could be out, or they could be reviewer copies.
Yeah.
Could be.
Exactly.
There's Smash Bros. Game. I'm a huge fan of Smash Bros. Games. So
I love the originals.
Oh man, yeah, absolutely, fantastic games. But are either of those enough to pull the Wii U out of its position? A lot of people have been asking for a very long time for a 3D Pokemon game.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. They need to add it to the Wii. It's one of those type of things like they had for the GameCube. What was it? It was like a Pokemon. It wasn't arena. Was it? Yeah, you had a Pokemon Arena, I think. Did you ever play that? It's where
I know which one you're talking about. It's like Shadow Coliseum or something like that for the GameCube.
Something like that. Yeah, that was such a cool game because it's like, oh my god, they're all 3D. Because you're so used to playing it on your Game Boy back then, and then suddenly you got it all 3D. It's like, wow, actually, like we were actually watching it. But that was such a cool thing. So constantly releasing Mario games and Legend of Zelda games. I don't think that will. They have their own fan base, and that's what a lot of Wii U owners and Wii owners buy for. And that's really their main selling point at the moment. That's why they keep pumping them out. But if they released as you just said, a Pokemon game, it would definitely sell. Like if it was, I was going to say Skyrim with Pokemon, but if they definitely released a Pokemon game that's actually like Coliseum or anything like that, they would definitely sell a lot more consoles because everyone's like, oh, whoa, we need this. We need to play this because everyone's been asking for it. That's
everyone
what they would need a reason.
You are right. All the gaming outlets as well that I follow, like Kotaku, IGN, GameSpot, all of these gaming outlets have been saying, when the hell are Nintendo going to release a 3D Pokemon game? This is what they need to do. I mean like a proper HD high next gen sort of 3D Pokemon game on the Wii U or something, because there is Pokemon X and Y. Is that the 3D one, or is it Black and White? It's one of those two on the 3DS, which is kind of 3D.
Yeah, X and Y. Yeah.
X and Y, right? Okay, so there is that. That's done tremendously well, I believe.
Yeah, that sold really well, and it's a really good game. I actually, funny enough, saying that, actually maybe want to buy a DS. Funny enough, but the thing is, like, you know how you avoid the warranty and everything like that when you try to stream it.
Yeah.
That when I think about that, I'm like, ugh. I would love to stream it though. That'd be so cool to play that.
It'd be great, man. It'd be absolutely great. The 3DS is the only thing that's going for Nintendo right now. It's the thing that's pulling it along. It's keeping it alive. I would say. But yeah, man, these guys need to make a 3D next gen Pokemon game. They need to. They just need to.
It'll be a big sale. Don't sell it on anything else. Pull it on the Wii U, and I think that would definitely help. Like as someone said as well, Star Fox. Did you ever play Star Fox?
I did play Star Fox.
That game was amazing. If they added a proper game like that, that would be amazing to play as well.
Yeah, man. Star Fox on the SNES, Lilac 64 on the Nintendo Lilac Wars for the Nintendo 64. That was amazing as well. Yeah, man. They need to make all these games. A new Secret of Mana game, if you've ever heard of Secret of Mana. That's going old school RPG now. Action RPG.
I've heard of it, but I don't know. I haven't played it.
It's all good. It's all good. It's old school action RPG for the SNES. Really, really cool stuff. That's actually a really short article. So there's not that much more to say about that anyway. But I think we've nailed it on the head that they need 3D Pokemon and a proper next gen 3D Pokemon.
So they definitely have to do.
yeah. Are you happy with that, dude? Are you happy to move on?
Yeah, I'm happy with it. I just, as we were saying before, hopefully enough the Wii U will hit off. I know it's been a while now, but hopefully enough, if they do a game like that, it will hit off.
Well, I heard the Monster Hunter game on the Wii U is fantastic. It's like a 4-player game. Are you familiar with the Monster Hunter series at all?
Yes, of course. I remember playing the original ones.
Have you? I played a couple of them on my PSP back in the day, but I've never really stuck with them for too long. But I've heard that the one on the Wii U is very good. Play 4-player co-op with your mates. Go hunt some massive ass monsters. It's meant to be really good.
Dragon's Dogma, does that ring a bell to you?
Yeah, I've completed Dragon's Dogma. Great game.
Think of it like Dragon's Dogma.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's like it. Yeah, it is. I mean, no. I think doesn't Dragon's Dogma actually have multiplayer?
No, it's a really weird, unique multiplayer system in that your NPC party members.
Ah, yeah.
You borrow other people's.
Okay, that's how it works.
Come into your party. They're not actually player-controlled things, and that's their multiplayer element to it. And I was like, just make proper multiplayer. That would have been so much better. Such a shame. Such a shame.
It's just like, I'm on top of its head. Oh no, I'm down here. So it's like, it would have been cool, but sadly, it's just like these type of things. You would love to add them into these type of games, but they just don't do it.
Yeah.
It's like, who was the person making this game? Like, you know how they always, like, how I say is like, did they really have a proper gamer think about this? Like, if you're a gamer, you would add the multiplayer aspect to a lot of games. I mean, not a lot of games need multiplayer, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Some games should just say single player. Some games should be mainly multiplayer. Like what they did with Titanfall. They knew they didn't need a single player aspect to it because you're going to mainly be playing multiplayer to it. So
yeah,
exactly like that.
Completely agree with what you're saying about during the creation of this game, do they actually talk to any gamers as well? Because some things, and don't get me wrong, I've got a lot of time for devs. I've got a lot of respect for them. They are amazing people and have such a hard job, and they really have to crunch sometimes, and that really sucks. I absolutely love everything that they do. But sometimes you do think, who did they speak to? Who made this decision? Why did they say this in this game? Why are they in trouble for this racism, this sexism, this homophobia, all that sort of stuff? And you're thinking, who do they speak to? Who gave them this idea to do that or to not do that? And Dragon's Dogma multiplayer was one of those things. I was like, come on, this game would have been amazing. People would still be playing it now constantly online if they could just all party up and go take on these massive demons in a party of 4 people. I think. But
if they added those, like a lot of games that go stale after you played it once, you're like, that needed multiplayer. you know, like if let's say you have a group of 4 of you, but then you're like, that person should have been a real person. Like, it would make sense. I mean, then there's those games that sadly flop, Aliens, Colonial Marines. It's just those games. I was so hyped, and then suddenly they just
Yeah, yeah.
I was so looking forward to that game. I feel so bad for like proper pre-ordering it, and I mean it wasn't as much of a bad game. It was still a good game,
Yeah.
but it's just so faulty. It was unreal, and on the fake advertising. Did you actually play it?
I think I played the demo of it actually.
There's a demo.
I think so.
I don't know. I never played it. I completed it, and then I cringed because I was like, "This could have been so much better," but sadly it wasn't. They just needed to just make it how it looked when they first released it.
Yeah.
That's how it should have looked, but sadly they didn't do that.
When it comes to release dates, they can cut back on things for performance reasons, optimization reasons, budget reasons. They can do that. They will get a really nice looking gameplay trailer or like a demo out. To be fair, they did that with Dark Souls 2, and it got criticized heavily for it. It got criticized heavily for it, but it's still the Dark Souls 2 that it is now, and it's doing absolutely amazingly. Like some of the biggest names on YouTube are doing content for it. You've got PewDiePie doing it, the chief of YouTube. He's doing it. You've got Markiplier, you've got Tabuscus doing it. So it's got a lot of people behind it, but I don't know. We're
kind of going off subject there, weren't we? Sorry. Blame me for that one. I think
that's definitely a really interesting little conversation there, man. I could talk to you about this all day, but let's get back on get back on topic. So Nintendo's being sued over its motion patents in the Wii and Wii U by Philips. I find that a bit weird.
Same.
And they're trying to get it so that all of the Wii's and the Wii U's sales are locked until this is settled. Now, that's a bit weird, and they also want a jury for the trial as well. So I don't know. Philips sound really confident about what they're claiming Nintendo has stolen from them and things. Like, I don't associate Philips with motion controls and things, but I suppose it's not about that. It's about the actual patents or patents, whatever you want to say.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't know enough about that to really give a great commentary on it, but it just sounds really, really weird that they've said, again, a very short article, they've said that they think it'll be settled out of court anyway to avoid the situation where Nintendo can't sell their games and their consoles and things, because that will kill them.
It would. I mean, stopping them is really bad. That's a really bad thing. Like, you can't say we're just going to stop you from selling your product. That's a really bad thing to do. The same thing, Sony had the same problem, didn't they, with their Blu-ray. I can't remember who it was. I don't think it was Philips. The Blu-ray player was owned by someone, and they were selling it, and they weren't giving them a cut for it or something like that.
Right.
Do you remember that argument? They said they were going to sue them.
I've heard a lot of similar things, especially in the mobile phone market with screens and things like that. I've heard about a lot of similar things, but I haven't heard of that particular Blu-ray one.
It was bad. I mean, I didn't lucky enough, it kind of like got shoved under the rug. You hardly heard about it. I remember seeing a lot of IGN posts about it back, I can't remember what it was. I think it was last year. And then we haven't heard anything about it ever since. So I don't think they really did much about it. I think Sony were just like, so what? No, I don't. Yeah. You can't really do much about it. But because Nintendo are having so many problems, like that subject we had a minute ago, they're going to have even more problems now.
Yeah.
It kind of makes you feel bad for them, don't it? I mean,
it does.
I know it's a big company, but the fact that that's happening to them, you're just like, hopefully enough they don't get like bankrupt or anything like that. It's just like, nah, you don't want that. They were like the masters of like consoles and everything like that back in the days, like their games and everything. You don't want them shutting down.
Yeah, man, like Tetris, Super Mario, all these games that made video gaming what it is today, you know.
Exactly.
They invented a lot of that stuff. A lot of people in the comments on that article said something really, really interesting. It's just kind of, it's that cheap move and kicking them while they're down because they're having troubles, they're having problems, they're in the spotlight right now for that. People think that Philips are just having a cheeky little quick stab at them. And I think that really reflects poorly on Philips. But I don't know, do they care that much about their reputation for suing Nintendo? Is the money that they'll get for it worth more than that rep? I don't know.
Exactly.
I can't really comment on that. But is there anything else you want to mention about that at all, dude?
We've spoken a lot about, I would notice, we've spoken a lot about the Wii U and a lot about, so I think we're good with that. So
Cool.
I just feel, all I can say is definitely feel sorry from what's going on right now.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. No, absolutely agree with you. No one wants to see such a great company from at least back in the day to go down, and they are certainly having a bad time. On to our next topic is to do with Hauppauge stuff. What Hauppauge products do you have, dude?
One, I got the HD PVR 2 gaming edition. Mainly just use it for my PS3. I streamed so many. When I got it, I was so happy. It was just like, I mean, I'm not. That sounds funny saying it loud, but when I got it, I was like, I gotta get it. It was so weird because as you know, I stream. Then I was just like, I constantly had to keep streaming from it. I was just like, that's all I did. I streamed from the console. Everyone that I used to speak to on the PC and everything like that, I was just like, sorry, I got to stream, and I had to keep asking them, do you have a PS3? Do you have a PS3? You want to stream it with me? Do you want to play it with me? But they're just like, no. So I was pretty much playing it on my own, and then I was playing GTA a lot online, and it was really good playing that back then with the Hauppauge. So it was a really good time. So I mean, I didn't get it when it first came out, but I think it was newish around about then of the gaming edition, I think, because it wasn't spoken about. It was like being just spoken about, so it was a really good product back then. So I now know there's the Plus edition, but I don't know. That's the Mac version, isn't it? If I'm correct.
That's the one that comes with the software that's available.
Yeah.
It comes with software for free that you can buy if you just got the game edition too. Like I've got the same one as you actually. But if you get the game edition plus, it comes with that software. It might have a couple of other changes as well, but I think they're quite minuscule, those changes, because they are both HD PVR2s and they're both fantastic products. As I say, I've got that one as well. And I used it to record PS3 footage, much like you did for streaming PS3 footage. I used that to record Dark Souls 1, which was my channel's flagship game, my YouTube channel's flagship game. So I really enjoyed doing that. That was really cool and really interesting. And are we happy to announce the beta surprise now, or?
Yeah, sure. I was just about to say, because I just remembered my poor old PS2 is down there. Yeah. Getting a bit dusty, sadly. But I was actually streaming. I was really surprised that it worked. I was able to stream from my PS2 as well. So, and I heard there's ways of actually streaming from your Dreamcast as well. So I did actually stream off my PS2 before some games off there, but it was really nice to do. So I haven't played it for such a long time. But I really want to see if I can get the Dreamcast to work. I'm not sure if it is, but if I can, that would be a mass bonus.
That'd be so cool.
Oh, yeah, man, did you ever play the Dreamcast?
Yeah, absolutely. That's old school. That they kind of invented the controller kind of on-screen things, didn't they?
I remember that. I've still got it. I don't know where it is, but oh my lord, it's so heavy. Have you actually held the whole thing? You got the back. Is it the Rumble Pack? Or the battery, I can't remember what it was, the big thing at the back, and you've got the screen in the middle. It's like so heavy, you're like, you're literally like playing like that, then like that. It's like proper weights. It's like you got really muscly wrists at the end of playing it. But it was so cool because I used to you could see like the little Chow. Did you ever play Sonic Adventure 1, the first one?
No, I didn't, no.
That's such an awesome game because you see like the little Chow on the front of it and everything like that. It was like playing, Tamagotchi. Yeah. It was like having our own little Tamagotchi inside of the little screen. That's pretty much what it was. Sounds very weird saying, but it was very cool to do.
Especially back in the day, it was so ahead of its time, man. It was so ahead of its time. Maybe too much ahead of its time. And the graphical upgrade as well for the Dreamcast was significant at the time, but it just didn't do that well, unfortunately.
I know. It doesn't make any sense. It's like the Wii as well. It's the same thing, isn't it? But it's like such a downer. I mean, it would have been so cool because there's so many games that were on that they had to actually port over to different consoles like the PS2, the Xbox. So they had to do that. Otherwise, those games wouldn't be as big as they are. So, sadly. But I really loved a lot of the games I used to play on that. So I sometimes go back to look at the YouTube videos to get my nostalgia.
Absolutely. We've veered off again. Talking about awesome things that we both know and love, which is great, which is awesome. So that beta announcement, it's to record your face cam whilst you are recording with your HD PVR or streaming with your HD PVR, I believe. And to get into this beta, Joe, if you want to post some information up on the chat for everyone to go check out, because there's a few things you needed to do. If I just scroll through here, I can read what you have to say. To sign up for the beta program for face camera recording, to get into it, you need to have an HD PVR Rocket or an HD PVR 2, and you need to have an i5 or i7 in your PC. To enter the beta program, send a PM along with a screenshot of your Windows control panel, the system page which shows the speed of your processors in your PC. And that's the big announcement, so you can record your facecam stuff, and you can stream your facecam on your HD PVR as you're going, which is pretty awesome. It's pretty cool.
Everyone's been waiting for as well, really.
Everyone has been waiting for it, so you can do the kind of a few of the overlay things on an HD PVR. But if you don't have like all the cool stuff with your PC and you wanna stream it or you wanna record it, you can do that. How's everyone feeling about that? Let us know in the chat. Are you excited for that, or what are you guys thinking? What do you think about that, Rev?
I find it's a really cool feature, as you just said. If you haven't got like, if you can't afford these high-end programs that you need to pay for, it's a really cool thing to have, because if you stream directly from the HD PVR, a lot of people say, why don't you have webcam? I mean, a lot of people would like using webcam, but they can't use it. But now that they're going to be adding webcam, it's a really nice feature. When I first actually got it, I was like, where's the webcam feature? But then, now that they're adding it, as you said, a lot of people have been really wanting it. So it's a mass thumbs up for that. So hopefully enough people will actually have the specs for it, fingers crossed. So
people are saying they don't.
That's what I can see. People are saying it's a bit too high. So hopefully enough, either way, there will be people out there definitely that will have the high end. Like, I mean, i5 is like more of the medium end. I wouldn't say it's high end. It's medium to high. So so you can get a cheap i5. I mean, as I've said to you before, hopefully enough, you can still send your specs and everything like that, even if you have AMD. So fingers crossed to that. So
yeah, cool.
I can't wait for it myself, even though I use my own webcam overlay anyway, but it's still a nice feature to have either way.
Yeah, having the option is a great thing, definitely. I would agree with that, man. I would definitely agree with that. Are we happy with that? Should we move on from that? Is there anything else you want to mention about that beta, or we all good?
If we can always talk about it again, like by the end of it, if you want to.
Yeah, if anyone in the chat wants to know more about that and stuff like that, we can come back to that.
That was it. Yeah, the HD PVR Rocket and the HD PVR 2. We said that, didn't we? Yeah.
That's we can touch on that later for the differences between them if you want to do that. Or
sure. No, we can do that then. Yeah, do that.
Cool, man. Awesome. This age-old argument, 30 FPS versus 60 FPS. People say, or some people say, the human eye can't see above 30 FPS. Now, this person has made this website literally dedicated to having two videos, MP4 videos, showing 30 FPS and 60 FPS of a bunch of different games next to each other, side by side. And if you go on that website, you can very clearly see there is a difference between 60 FPS and 30 FPS. I've always believed there's a huge difference. I can see it. I can definitely see it. What are your thoughts on that, dude?
Well, because I'm a PC gamer, you can always see the difference, but not a lot of people won't be able to see the differences, will they? I mean, from 30 to 60, when you're playing on a console, I suppose a lot of people can't see it because they're normally using a TV, they're normally sitting far back, they don't see the difference, and a lot of people always say that. But then when you're using a PC like ours, like high-end PCs, and then if you cap, I've done it before. Funny enough, I did it yesterday. Was it yesterday? Whenever it was, a couple of days ago, I was testing out. I capped my game at 30 FPS, and then it was a racing game, and then I capped it out at 60 FPS. Yeah. You can see the difference because it's still smooth at 30. Still the extra 30 FPS to it. You can feel the smoothness. But my argument is, can you feel anything after 60 FPS? Because I don't see anything after 60 FPS. It's just 60s. It's capped. It's smooth after 60. So that would be my no, it's not an argument, but that would be my subject to it, because from 30 to 60 it's perfectly fine. I mean it depends on what you're really playing, to be honest. So if you're playing racing games, shooting games, having 60 FPS is a really nice bonus. Having 30 FPS on a shooting game, like a fast action game like Call of Duty, it's just best to say that, for instance, you want that extra speed bonus. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Because you need to turn around fast. If you're turning around fast on a console game or on a PC game for that, and you're at 30 FPS, you can see the slowdown type. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, dude. I know exactly what you mean. What I would say is because my main platform is YouTube, and when you upload a video to YouTube, its encoding caps it at 30 FPS.
Exactly.
I always notice when I record something at 60 FPS or even higher occasionally, depending on what software I'm using, like NVIDIA Shadowplay, it recorded some Neverwinter footage at like 120 FPS or something. And I was like, what? I didn't even know that was possible. I couldn't, it looked 60 FPS. But when you render it out in Sony Vegas or whatever software you use, I use that. I render it out to 30 because I know YouTube's encoding plays
I
at
use
30
Sony
anyway.
Vegas, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, there are a lot of instances where that difference it's not really important. But I think when you are sitting down at a PC, as you say, and you are playing a game where your reactions are really important, shooters, racing games, or just anything where things are moving by you quickly, it just looks nice. It looks really, really nice. On PC, it's really noticeable, man. Especially with a good monitor and everything like that and a good setup, it is really noticeable. But yeah, I think that's interesting. I do think there is a difference, and the article's funny. This is the difference between 30 FPS and 60 FPS. Can we all move on now? That's it. Done.
It's pretty much it, really, is it, for it?
that's pretty much it. I don't think there's much more else to say. It's absolutely hot as balls today, isn't it, man?
It is boiling.
Absolutely boiling. I mean, it's a great day in the UK. Whereabouts in the UK are you from, by the way?
West Midlands.
West Midlands,
Warwickshire area, yeah.
All right, I'm from Chester myself. So
yeah, fair enough.
Northwest me. Right, okay.
I can't tell on the accent. I mean, you probably would be saying the same thing to me. You'd be like, "I don't you have a Birmingham accent?" No. So you'd probably be tell normally.
Generic British accent. We'll go with that.
Exactly. Generic. We either don't sound posh, or we don't sound like we're in like the lower end. So we sound in the middle. We sound good.
Yeah, somewhere in between. We have talked about some handhelds a little bit. We've talked about the Vita a little bit. Moving on to our next topic, if you're happy to do so, is Borderlands 2 has just come out on the Vita, and it is being described as the worst version of a good game, unfortunately. Did you ever play Borderlands 2?
Yes, I did. As I don't know if you remember me sharing it, but of course,
yes.
His head's gone a bit wonky, but yeah, he's here. As soon as I got it, I mean, I remember playing Borderlands 1. I never got it when it first came out because I didn't really know much about Borderlands 1 back then. But when I did get it, I was so happy with getting it because I was trying to get everyone to play it. They were like, "Nah, I don't think I'll really like it because it's cel shaded." But when they played it, everyone was so happy in playing it, and I loved it. So I got Borderlands 2 as soon as it came out. I had to get the bobblehead because it's awesome.
Of course.
But with the Vita version, I feel like they could have, because the Vita can handle some really good graphics, can't it?
Yeah.
It is. But you gotta remember though, with cel shaded graphics, they should be able to pump in the extra quality. But I don't know if the Vita supports NVIDIA physics. Do you know if it supports it?
I don't know about that. I just know that the processors in the Vita really struggled with Borderlands 2. That's all I know about it. I don't know the specifics about that though.
That's the thing. I think it would have I think that was the major impact because the way they used it, they used the physics. Hence the reason why, if you looked at a console and the PC differences, and PC differences, you will know the fact that you could definitely tell you're using PC because the particle effects, they're all over the place. Let's say if you do like a weird wormhole type of thing, everything's like flying around it and everything like that. On the console version, you can't see that as much. You can even turn it off if you haven't got as high enough PC. So I'm thinking, when they did that, I think that could have been the reason why it had those problems. I'm not sure myself, but as I said, the Vita, I was expecting it to go quite well, but just without as many particle effects. I actually watched a video about it myself, funny enough.
Oh, did you?
And it didn't. It was alright. I wouldn't complain about it. I know they said they lacked certain features to it, but I wouldn't complain about it because you've got it on the go. If you're playing it on the go, then you should be happy with that. If you just want to play Borderlands itself, just have it on the console or PC. So, just depends on what you're really doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, handheld gaming is designed for it to be portable. So if you wanna do it on your commute to work or on your way back or whatever, you can do so. What they're saying with Borderlands 2 on the Vita is that it's just a lot of the things are just unsatisfactory. And I can understand the size of the game, the size of the worlds, especially when you add in DLC, with all the different enemies that are appearing as well on screen, with all the bullets flying around everywhere, crazy as particle effects and cel-shaded graphics and all that sort of stuff. But when it significantly drops under 30 FPS consistently, that's not really good enough at this day and age. It's not good enough, is it?
It feels like it was either I wouldn't say it's Vita's fault. It was either Gearbox not actually releasing it, like they should have actually given it more time, or that you never know, they might be able to fix it with patches and everything like that.
Might be able to.
It just depends. It was either a hardware problem, but why would they pull it on it if they didn't know they could do it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
They must have thought about it beforehand. Like, yeah, this definitely could take our game because of how big it is.
Yeah.
So, but then where you said they've lacked certain features and everything like that, it's kind of sad actually, because I know a lot of people really would like to play that and they don't have a high-end PC or a really like a console. So either way.
Go on, sorry.
No, sorry, that's all literally I was ending with either way.
Yeah. Okay. I would say that the biggest downgrade that they've done, because you can if you are a big Borderlands 2 fan and you really want to play this on the go, you could kind of overlook a lot of that stuff. But they have reduced the multiplayer from it being 4-player co-op to maximum 2-player co-op.
Really? I actually didn't know that.
That's the biggest turnoff for getting Borderlands 2 on the Vita. The absolute biggest turnoff.
Yeah, okay, I will definitely say that is, because I used to play it with up to 3 to 4 people, so I can see how that would be a bit of a downer.
Absolutely. Other than that, I've got a Vita, but I haven't got it on Vita. I've got it on PS3. It's a great game. Really enjoy it. The PC version is meant to be the definitive version, but yeah, it's just a shame. It's a shame because I think they could have done a lot more with that. But it seems to be the way a lot of these things go with the handheld ports or various ports anyway, whether it's to PC or from PC. It seems to be the way this goes, that you just get these unsatisfactory products when you think to yourself, this shouldn't be the case. They should have put more time into it, but I don't know, man.
I mean, that, as you said, they should have added that more time. I mean, Gearbox are a really good company, and I will admit, amazing company Gearbox are. They've made some really good games out there. But as I said, with Alien Colonial Marines, for instance, that flopped. I'm not going to say anything about Duke Nukem because of the fact Randy Pitchford, the owner of Gearbox, loves Duke Nukem. People at 3D Realms, when they sold it off to him and everything like that, they pretty much just cleaned it up, fixed the bugs, and then they pretty much just released it for them. But then people that were saying it's rubbish and everything like that, it's not their fault. They were just releasing what the game was. So in a way, I think they could have. But the way that we saw the game of, what's it called again? Alien Colonial Marines, it could have went a lot better. Yeah. So that's really how I can end it with that, to be honest.
Okay, cool. Oh, are we okay to take a really short 1 to 2 minute break? I just use the loo, get a bit more comfortable and stuff like that, and I'm absolutely boiling to open a window and stuff. If we're okay with that, just a really short break, guys.
I'm perfectly fine with them.
Just mentioned it to Joe on Facebook there, so and obviously he can hear us. So I'll just be back in a minute or two, and we'll get going again. All right.
All right, cool.
Open a window up, Christ.
It's boiling where I am. Oh dear, I don't know how hot.
Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for bearing with us there. Just making ourselves a bit more comfortable, having a wee little break there. How's everyone doing? Are we all well? Are you good, Rev?
I'm doing good, thank you very much.
Excellent, excellent. Boiling away like me, are you?
Yeah, I shouldn't have wore the black shirt. It's a bit too. It's one of those ones that I kind of get a bit too tight, so it's like, oh. Getting a bit too hot in it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Guys, just a quick little reminder, if you've got any feedback, send it over to streamteam@hauppauge.com for your chance to win some wristbands. And it really, really helps us get the stream going better for you guys. If you are enjoying it, do send that feedback over. It does really help us out. And you could win an awesome wristband, as we say. Shall we go over that beta announcement for the face cam integration for the recording again, Rev?
Yeah, sure.
So with the HDPVR2s and the HDPVR rockets, I believe it was. Was it any of the other models, or is it from those onwards?
It was just those two, if I'm correct, yeah.
Right, okay. To enter the beta, you need to have an i5 or an i7 upwards, and you need to send a PM to Hauppauge Gaming. Is it this channel that you need to send the PM to? Here we go. Yeah, Joe's posting it on the chat as well.
Yeah.
With a screenshot of your PC specs for your processor specs in your My Computer pages as well, just showing off what you've got to enter that beta. And what this allows you to do is to overlay your face cam, your webcam on your recording directly from your Hauppauge 2 or your Rocket. And for streaming on your HD PVR2 as well. You can't stream on the Rocket, but for streaming as well on that side. I think that's really cool. I think that's a great little feature for people who don't have all the different softwares to overlay it yourself in separate software, or to get overly complicated with stuff. Just to have everything in one handy place. I think that's really, really cool.
Exactly,
what do you think about that, Rev? Do you like that?
As I said before, I actually find it as a really amazing little thing. Definitely, if you don't have all the stuff, if you don't have Sony Vegas, just something nice, so you don't have to worry about. You just have it, as you just said, you have it all in one. You don't have to worry about like saying, "Oh, I need this other program. I need to open this. I need to open that to get my webcam up." You just have everything there straight away. You got your webcam up. So yeah, I think that beta would be really cool. I think I might even have to try out.
Definitely, and yeah, give it a go. Give it a bash just to see what it's like.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, guys. So all the information is there in chat. Joe's posted it on there. Thank you so much for all of your awesome work behind the scenes there, Joe. This wouldn't go smoothly without you, man. So thank you so much for that. And I'm sure, Rev, you're really grateful to Joe as well. Shall we get back on to our topics, dude?
Sounds good to me.
Excellent. We are on. We've just covered Borderlands 2. So we are next we are talking about Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Now, I'm not massive on shooters, but I know quite a bit about the success story of this game, in that it is infamous, really. Like how well it's done, and how much they care about the community. They've put apparently over 60 updates since they launched it, because when they first launched, that many. Because when they first launched it, it was compared too much to the previous one, and they just said, well, it's the same game, but just kind of slightly better graphics. So people kind of went back to what they knew with the older Counter-Strike. But they've put out 60 updates since it launched, and some of them are really massive game-changing updates. And I think that is great that the devs really care that much, because it's from Valve's end with
it's Valve, yeah.
So they can put a lot of stuff behind that. They can put a lot of resources behind that. But I think that's absolutely fantastic that they've really listened and they put out all these awesome updates and all these things. So now it's actually on its way to being like one of the most popular PC games pretty much of all time.
It's one of them, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's one of Valve's selling point, if you think about it. It's not, I wouldn't say it's their highest, but it is definitely their selling points. You got of course you have Dota 2, but I wouldn't say that's their selling point, but of course that is their most played game, however. But then definitely the Counter-Strike, because of course Counter-Strike has been going for years. And of course you have like Half-Life next to it and everything like that, and everyone's been wanting Half-Life 3. I think that's why everyone loves everyone loved Counter-Strike, because it was one of those type of games like Doom back in the day, but then when it turned into proper 3D graphics, it made the first person job like one of the games that made the first-person genre on PC gaming. Does
Yeah.
that make sense? Yes. Yeah, so yeah, it is one of those games. Like I used to play a lot of the original Counter-Strikes, going back in the days of all the blocky people and everything like that.
Nice.
But with Global Offensive, did you ever play it?
No.
I actually did play it when it kind of first came out. It was a really good game, but as people said, it felt pretty much the same. It just kind of felt a bit rehashed. But what they've done to it, it feels a lot better than it did before.
Okay.
I was actually playing it with my friend. I think it was I think it was over a month ago or something like that. We actually played the game. And it was a really good game. Ever since, it's just like those little tweaks. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just the tweaks that makes it feel different, and that's a good thing to me. I like the changes. I mean, some people don't like changes, some people do, and I think that's what they wanted to do. They didn't want to just say, okay, this is just Counter-Strike with just better graphics, like a lot of them did. What they did with this one, they actually wanted to add more features to the game. So, free updates. I don't think anyone can complain about free updates, to be honest.
Can you? No.
No.
Well, if they're doing things like actually changing the feel of like different gameplay mechanics, like the guns' weights and things like that, and I think some of the features they have brought in sound absolutely amazing. Again, because I've not played it and it's not really my area of expertise, I can't comment too much other than what's written on the different articles that I've researched for this. But it sounds really good. It sounds like they've really, really gone above and beyond for the community, and that's all you can ask for, and they're reaping the benefits for that. So
exactly,
that's absolutely fantastic. Revzo said Half-Life 3 is coming. I heard.
That's what I was laughing at just then. I just saw it just then. I was like, oh wow.
Half-Life 3 confirmed. You heard it here. Heard it here first, people. But yeah, guys, if you haven't followed this page, folks, do feel free to follow this page, because we will be doing this podcast every single week on a Saturday. I'll be hosting it, and we'll be joined by a host of guest streamers as well. Rev, if you're enjoying yourself, I'm sure you'll be more than welcome to do it again in the future as well.
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with that at any point.
Cool, man. Cool. Awesome. But yeah, guys, feel free to follow the Twitch page, and also to follow us as well, because we are both streamers too. Check out our YouTube and our social media and stuff if you want to get involved on there. All the links are below and stuff like that. So do that. We would love to hear from some of you. Yeah, what have you've got anything else to say about Counter-Strike, dude? Because you know your stuff with it, man. You know your stuff with it.
I wouldn't say too much about it, but I don't know. Valve is just one of those type of games you kind of grow up with in a way. So I can't wait to see what else they release. Like as you said, they release constant free updates, and that's what makes Valve. They make free updates. Like Team Fortress 2, for instance, they constantly keep releasing free stuff and everything like that. Yeah, fine, they have that little secret marketplace where you might want to buy an extra hat or extra things for Dota 2. But either way, it's the same thing. Yeah, same thing with Counter-Strike. It's an awesome game with everything that they add for free. And then if you want to add things you pay for, you just pay for it because you're supporting the company and you want to make yourself look cool with an extra hat on top of a hat.
So is the model that you buy the game outright? You pay a sum of money to buy the game outright, and then you've just got complete free online accessibility.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
That's pretty
solid. You
solid.
Can't complain about that. So it's
cannot complain about
free.
that. Yeah,
exactly. Of course, you might. I don't know. Didn't they add like a DLC that you have to pay for recently?
Not too sure, to be honest with you, mate.
I can't remember. I can't remember. But either way, but still, it's like Left 4 Dead, as Olo just said in the stream. Left 4 Dead, they're constantly updating that. So, like, because remember when it first came out, there was a few little hiccups and everything like that. But then when they constantly update it, and I don't know if they update it now, but the fact that the modding community and Steam, or not Steam, Valve themselves, they just, I don't know, I can't explain it. I'm so happy that they're releasing a third. Aren't they releasing a third one? I know they're releasing Evolve. Do you know about Evolve?
I know about Evolve. That looks insane.
It does look really cool. I hope they show off a lot more monsters recently, but it does look really good. So I can't wait. So that's why I like what they're doing with Counter-Strike. Hopefully enough, if they do release a new one, of course they'll still add the old maps, Dust, of course, and then they'll keep adding new maps just to make it look better. But of course they don't want to add new features just to make it not feel like it. Because if they start adding too many new features to it, like aiming down the sight like that or something like that, you start going into Call of Duty and everything like that, and they don't want to do that.
Yeah.
They got the full-on hip shooting. That's what the game was about. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. That sounds really, really cool, man. I'll probably have to check out, because everyone goes on about Counter-Strike. Everyone goes on about it, and even though I'm not massively into shooters, I can appreciate all genres of games. I really can. I genuinely can. Shooters are one of them as well that I can appreciate. So I should check it out definitely if it's ever on sale or something. But shall we move on to the next topic? You happy with that, or?
Yeah, I'm sure I'm happy with that. Yeah.
Cool, man. Cool. We can discuss some of the different Hauppauge HD PVRs that are available as well, and which ones you should get for what purpose. What I would say, looking at this comparison screen, if Joe, if you want to put that link up on the Twitch or something like that, so people can see the different products that are available and what each one can do, just so everyone in the chat can see that as well. What I would say is, because we've got the Colossus at one end, we've got the HD PVR 2 Gaming Edition, plus at the other end, I've got the HD PVR 2 Gaming Edition, which you said you do as well, Rev. Mm-hmm. I would say that the two ones that really stand out are all the different 2s, all the HD PVR 2s, and you've got your HD PVR Rocket, which is portability. It's recording. It's a friggin' recording device, a portable one where you can record directly to a USB. It's kind of small and sleek and sexy, and you don't need to have a PC with you. If you need to go over to a mate's house to record something, you take your HD PVR Rocket with you. You know,
I find that really awesome, actually.
That's cool, isn't it? You don't have to lug your PC around with you. Like, yeah, exactly. I'll set up all my cables in your spare bedroom or whatever. No, you just take your HD PVR Rocket with you, which is so cool. It can't stream, but if you are looking for the streaming, that's when you go for the HD PVR 2s.
I find that just a really cool little feature because, of course, if you're around your friends, you're like, oh, that means I'm gonna have to drag let's say if you don't have a HD PVR 2, but you like streaming from your own computer, recording from your own computer, then going to your friend's house and recording from there. So if you're one of those type of people that travel a lot, I would definitely say it's a good one because you don't want to hulk about all the wires and everything like that all the time. I mean, to be honest, the HD PVR 2, the gaming edition, I know that the HD PVR 2 is pretty much the same. They just give you the wires, don't they, if you remember?
Yeah.
So it's a really good thing to have. Definitely if you're traveling a lot, going around your friends a lot, I would definitely say that's a really good bonus. I mean, because me and you, for instance, we sit here and everything like that and stream on the screen. We don't really need to worry about that, do we, ourselves?
No, we don't. But I mean, if we, like, I don't know, like, say we wanted to do some collab stuff and we were just down the road from each other, one of us had a Rocket, it would be great for that. They are actually the same quality, the Rocket and the PVR 2s. They're the exact same quality. You get the same fantastic full resolutions out of your recordings, but one of them doesn't stream and is portable, and the other one is less portable and streams.
Exactly. Like if I wanted to say, I don't know why you would, but let's say if you had two consoles, we wanted to play on the same computer. Let's say I came around yours, I had the Rocket, or if you had the Rocket, just like plug that in. Well, yeah, let's say if I had the Rocket, I could just say, yeah, right, I plug it in, and then we can just both play at the Rocket. So let's say if you want to have like side-by-side comparison of like when I'm playing it, when you're playing it. Do you know what I mean? Stuff like that. Stuff like that would be pretty cool because you don't have to have the HD PVR 2, but it always depends on what you're doing, to be honest. So I find that a cool little snazzy feature, to be honest, myself.
Yeah. So if we're ever on the road recording with each other, man, we'll have to pick up a Rocket, eh?
Pretty much.
yeah. But other than that, and the beta announcement with the face cam overlays and stuff, I'm quite happy to move on to the next topic. If you're good with that as well, Rev.
Yeah, sure, I'm good with it.
Excellent. Now, the Elder Scrolls Online, PS4 and Xbox One delayed, possibly. It's still, it's kind of a rumor, but kind of confirmed at the same time. And the reason I say that is because do you know a little bit about this, about what happened on the website?
Oh, actually, no, I don't know about that bit. What was that?
What they did was they posted on the website, which got removed really quickly, but someone saw it and screenshot it. I don't know how they knew to screenshot it, but they did. That due to this, and this, blah 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 blah, it appears that the Xbox One and the PS4 release of Elder Scrolls Online is going to be delayed by 5 to 6 months or something like that.
Yeah.
And then the post got removed completely, and it linked to a blog post that was supposed to give more information on it, but nothing was in that link really. So what they think it was, all the gaming outlets like IGN and whoever else has covered this, what they think it was is that someone jumped the gun on posting that information out. But
so you're probably going to hear it down the line anyway. So
yeah. It appears like it's going to be delayed. I'm not sure. I'm not actually sure if it's properly confirmed yet, because this is from a little while ago. This is from like 10 days ago. But I think it's going to be delayed for PS4 and Xbox One, regardless of if it is confirmed or not. What are your thoughts on that, with it being delayed and just generally releasing these sorts of games that are cross-platform at different times? Because you've experienced this with Dark Souls 2 that we were talking about before.
With the thing is though, ESO, it's one of those games that everyone was so looking forward to play. But then as soon as a lot of people started seeing the gameplay, they were like, it was kind of like up here, and then the hype train, and suddenly it kind of slowed down. Honestly, it's a good thing that they actually do it. I mean, they shouldn't rush it, I don't think. As you know, what happens with rushed games doesn't go very well. I would prefer it if they actually did do that. I'm not going to get it on the console myself, but you know, when their games come from a port or something like that, they never turn out well. So it's a good thing they have it on the PC. They can test it out, then they can actually port it to the console. They can do everything they need to do. If they can just give them that time, I think they would be good. Same thing with Watch Dogs. They've given them the time, and it seems like it's a really good thing that they probably actually did that.
Yeah.
So I actually don't mind delays, depending on the delay. Not Duke Nukem delay, but just a delay.
Not AFKing so hard that they literally come back 20 years later or something ridiculous, Duke Nukem style. Oh man.
Yeah, exactly.
That is a serious delay. That's not messing around. That's, if you're gonna delay it, friggin' delay it, you know.
Hence why it was called Forever. They actually did change the name for that game, funny enough, because I can't. Was it called Manhattan or something like that? I can't remember what it was called, but it was Duke Nukem something before. They actually had the whole graphics, everything was already playable, it was a trailer, but then suddenly they stopped doing it, and they said they were going to delay it 10 years later. So, it's just going to have to see.
I completely agree with you on devs taking their time, and that delays are usually a good thing. I think it's worth it because you get a higher quality of game out in the end, and having to push for deadlines on something that's not ready, that's when we get the bugs, that's when we get the game crashes, that's when we get the patches every friggin' 3 hours because nothing works in the game. And it's like, okay, well, maybe if people weren't so impatient in the first place and accepted that it was going to be delayed for a month or 2 or 6, that it would be sorted. So I agree with you. I completely agree with you that it's generally, calling it a good thing is a funny way to describe it, but it means you get a proper product at the end of it. Because all too often now, people are okay with buying a product, and particularly within the gaming industry, they're okay with buying a product that isn't complete, and they might pipe up about it, but they accept buying a flawed product and a game that doesn't really work. And
it's like the early alphas for Steam. A lot of the games that are on Steam, people know it's going to be buggy. They even advertise it's going to be buggy. So even though it's going to be buggy and everything like that, they know what they're getting themselves into.
Yeah.
But I do not agree with the people that go into like the comment section on Steam, start ripping on the game because it's buggy. So you're like, you shouldn't do that. I think that's kind of a silly thing to start giving a thumbs down on a good game that could be really good time to come. So give it its time. You shouldn't review a broken game like that. Really, I think with the Steam thing, you know, the thumbs up and the thumbs down, there should be like a
in between.
In between. I think that would be a good thing for that. Or they shouldn't allow you to have a thumbs up and a thumbs down system for alpha games. So
maybe.
I think that's what they should do.
Or perhaps they shouldn't allow you to buy early access games on Steam and just defer that to a different platform with Kickstarters or other crowdsourced funded projects. Maybe, because by having that in place and people putting money into it and paying for these products rather than pledging money, you are buying an early access game. You are buying it. And I completely agree with what you said with people talking, you know, whack talking these sorts of games with saying that, oh, it's buggy, it's glitchy, when they say, well, you're testing it, you know, it's supposed to be buggy and glitchy. But at the same time, I think there are two sides to that, because, for example, like, I've never left a negative review or anything like that on any of these things. For example, I bought 7 Days to Die.
Yeah.
Now, the trailer they play for that shows you all of this fantastic stuff with, like, the leveling system and the sneak system and this skill tree and these effects and those physics and da-da-da-da.
None of it was in it, I bet.
None of it was in it. And they didn't say this is stuff to come. This was just the trailer for the early access. and I bought that, and I was so disappointed that it was just the shell of the game. Now, other people left negative reviews for that. I would never do that, but
Give it its time, and then it'll be there.
give it time. Give it its time, and then it'll be there. And some people are saying, blood everywhere is saying there in the comments, early access is such a great tool for developers, though. Would be a shame to see it go. I do agree with you. It's which angle do you come at it from, and where do you draw the line? I mean, should these things only be crowdsource funded? Should these things be? Should people be allowed to leave reviews on Steam? But if that's taken away from them, well, people will be like, well, I'm paying money for this product. I'm buying a product. It may be early access, but I'm buying a product. If I want to review it, I'll review it. And it's difficult. Like, what's the right answer?
It's an opinion. That's the best thing to say. It's an opinion.
The problem is money's involved in this opinion.
Exactly. I mean, those type of games where they give you they give you the chance to buy it cheap, and then it goes up to full price and everything like that. That's good. Do you know of Prison Architect?
Yes.
Very expensive game for a very broken game as well. Very good game. But it shouldn't be sold around, I think it's like 15 to 18 pounds or something like that for that. Right. It's like when it first got released, it was at that price. It was so expensive. They should be a sale. Like, do you know a game called Starbound, for instance?
Yeah, I've got Starbound.
Love that game. I was so hyped for it, and they actually sold it cheaper when it came out. Yeah. But then people, of course, still complain about the fact that they know it's an early access game and everything like that. So I still find it silly that people complain about things like that, where as you said, they should either remove it or not remove the fact that they have these early access things. But it helps, as someone said in the chat, it helps developers, and I think it does. It does, because they're getting the money for the game, even though it's still being made. They can still pump as much stuff as they can, and then when they're getting paid as well, they can still add more stuff. So it's all right. Here's another game for you. I don't know if you know this one, Cube World.
Yeah, I know of Cube World. I'm surprised that didn't take off though. Like I expected when that came. What's it in now? Is it actually released now, or is it in beta? Or
it's all right. I'll definitely say it's only had one update.
Really?
Two, and that was when it was like first released. I'm not even joking. When the guy, I will admit, there's only like 2 people doing it, him and his wife.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, I loved that game so much. I streamed it so much and everything like that. But there was no support in it or anything like that. He's taken too long, and no one plays it anymore, sadly. I mean, there probably are some people that still play it, and I played so much of that game, and I was like, okay, I have to stop playing this, because if I keep playing it, I'm just going to go majorly dry, because there's no new content being added. I will admit, on his Twitter and everything like that, he is still posting things saying what he's going to be adding to the game. Yeah. He's going to be adding new levels, he's going to be adding new things, monsters, blah, 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 quest system. He's going to be adding all this, but when is it going to be added? Yeah. Why doesn't he just like add it over time or something like that? I think that would be an awesome thing to do. Constantly keep adding smaller updates. Yeah. Instead of waiting. How many years has it been now? Like way over a year.
Yeah.
So with ESO Online, I would say with that, the fact that it's a bit broken on PC. It's not very broken, but the fact it's a bit wobbly. Yeah. That's the reason why they just delayed on the console. Yeah. That's the thing I was thinking about. Sorry, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say that with Cube World, because I can't believe it didn't explode, but it makes a lot of sense with the fact that there's been like 1 or 2 updates, and it's a massive shame. Yeah, there are 1 or 2 people developing it, fine, but people are invested in it at the same time. Blood said before, buyers need to be cautious and understanding, and developers need to not falsely advertise content not currently available. Exactly. I think that just states it in one perfect sentence. But yeah, if people are invested and they have dropped money on these products for you, and you promised all these content updates and patches and whatever, you can't just leave people hanging like that. It would have been so much better if you really pumped in some more time for Cube World, for example, and then YouTube would have been flooded with it, because Minecraft has taken off massively, but I barely saw anything about Cube World anywhere. Like I don't really dig Minecraft or particularly watching Minecraft content, and I would never ever make any Minecraft content because it's just not me. It's just not me. But I looked at Cube World and I was like, this looks really cool, like sneak mechanics and the different classes and all that sort of stuff.
It was so cool what they actually said they were going to be doing. I will admit what you just said about the Minecraft thing. I don't know if you can see it right there, but
I can see it.
But I was one of the original Minecraft players, though. I'm not being all hipster. I'm not being a hipster there. But you know what I mean? Like, when you played the original.
Yeah, man.
When you play it now, it's still the same, but I can't play it as much as I used to. I got that picture for because it's got the old mechanic on it and everything like that, like how Minecraft used to be. That's why I like that poster. But what else is there? I mean, there's another game that you just spoke about just then. It's an outer space game. It's got physics, like realistic physics and everything like that, where you can go flying and everything like that. You can build really cool houses. You go in space. I can't remember what it's called. No, it's like a first-person and third-person game. Do you know what it is? It's like in very early access, something like that. They advertised it with all these features, being able to dig in the ground and everything like that.
You're talking about the one that got absolutely destroyed by all the gaming outlets, aren't you?
It's probably, I don't know. I don't remember what it's called. If anyone remembers it in the stream, I'm not sure. It looks so cool on the trailers. Yeah. Everything they've added, all the buildings you can add, the fact you can destroy all the flooring and everything like that.
Yeah.
Play the game. It has none of those features. You're supposed to be able to endlessly explore space. Nothing there. You can only just get to the tip of space and that's it, and then just jump off. And everything's pretty much broken in the game. It's been released for over a year. Starforge. There we go. Oh, I was so close in buying it, but then I read all the reviews. Everyone was complaining about the fact that it's been over a year and they still haven't added anything to it since. It's so slow. It's like Cube World. I mean, you would love it if it did add all these features.
Yeah.
They just haven't done it yet. It's I won't lie, there's actually a game coming out that's actually like Cube World, but it's not Cube World, of course, but it got a different name. But they've copied the same idea. It looks exactly the same. I'm not even joking. Even the bottom part is the same. It's a legit it's an indie company. It just looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
But as I said, people are taking the ideas now. People will take the ideas. What we said earlier on about people taking ideas. They will take the idea. If you didn't do very good with it, or you did do very good with it, they're going to take it and then use it on their own product. So, and then they're going to keep pumping out the ideas for it. So, yeah. So I think I know we stayed stayed with it, but then we kind of went off the game.
Yeah.
So
but we were talking about similar things with delays and stuff, and the early access discussion is a really important one because it's very much, particularly if you're into PC gaming, which I know you do. It's a very real thing, and for a lot of people who frequent on Twitch as well, they're into their PC gaming, so it's a very real discussion. So that's okay that we went off a bit. I did notice before people were saying that they missed the old format with gameplay and stuff like that during the podcast. What I would say to that, guys, is we have discussed this with Joe and the other folks behind the scenes as well. What I would say is that this is a podcast once a week on a Saturday, just to discuss what's been going on in the news. If you want gameplay and stuff, we both do streams. We both do our own live streams all throughout the week, and according to our schedule and stuff. If you want gameplay, there are loads of other times that you can come grab it. But with regards to the way this is run, we just want to kind of just do a little podcast and have a little chat with you guys. But they will. I'm sure Hauppauge Gaming will start other streams with gameplay on, I don't know, in another week or another time, maybe as part of this one another time, but I'm not too sure. But what I would say is, yeah, this is just a little chat to catch up with everything. But let's move on. So we've got topic 12 here. We've got GameSpy multiplayer shutting down, hundreds of games at risk. GameSpy, that logo and the writing and everything is so old school. Did someone get timed out?
Yeah, N7, he's from my stream. I know who he is. He's a little git, that's all I can say. So I know who he is. Of course, he had to say so again. He got himself banned, so I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to laugh to it.
Nice.
Sorry, to continue. It's fine.
What was that, Joe? I didn't catch. All right.
It didn't bother me. I saw it and I was just like, it. Okay, so yeah, with GameSpy, old school, getting James Bond games, everything.
Oh man, so old school. That logo just reminds me of playing games from ages and ages ago. But yeah, they're shutting down. So loads of multiplayer games that use their online services are at risk. and they're
A lot
having
of
to
them.
a lot of them, man. Literally hundreds of games, So that is so interesting to see where all of these games will go, including like Red Dead Redemption, Civilization 4, Grand
Wait,
Theft
Red
Auto
Dead are
4.
using GameSpy?
Yeah, they are.
Oh, wow, I never actually knew it was using GameSpy.
Well, the GameSpy sold. It was acquired by Glue from IGN in 2012, and it's still using the GameSpy mechanics. I don't know. I don't know the technical lingo or anything like that, but it's using their servers,
Yeah.
their online services. So that's really interesting. You know, are all these games, all these publishers and devs and studios, are they going to have to find other places to go? Are they going to bother finding other places to go? Is that going to be too expensive? Well, I mean, what are your thoughts on that initially?
I remember reading about this actually when it actually first kicked in. I remember it was an IGN post. When I saw it, I was like, I had a flashback in my head. I just remember I saw every single game that I remember seeing that GameSpy logo with. The main one that hits me is definitely, I mean, Red Dead, of course. I didn't even know that was even GameSpy. But I suppose on a lot of the boxes, it doesn't, normally when you start up a game, it used to say GameSpy.
Yeah.
Or whatever it was. I can't remember. But powered by GameSpy. And then, or it had it like at the bottom left, like on the logo screen and everything like that. But on the back of the box nowadays, it says GameSpy. And I used to think to myself, GameSpy, are they still going? I mean, a lot of people didn't even know they were still going. As I said, I didn't even know Red Dead took it. I mean, it's really surprising of what a lot of games actually used it. A lot of people hated them, and then a lot of people really liked them.
Yeah.
But it's going to be kind of a sad thing because it's a nostalgia type of thing. Because when you think of it, I think of mainly James Bond. I always, when I used to have problems with it, GameSpy. Always. Yeah. Like, it's like the GameSpy server list and everything like that. Yeah. I remember back in the day, I used to read some of the GameSpy news feeds. Did you ever remember them?
I never read those, no.
It was like looking at the IGN posts and everything like that, but instead it was GameSpy instead. Yeah. But then they suddenly slowed down, then they stopped pretty much, so it kind of died. And I think from then I don't know, that was only a news feed, but you could tell from then it was kind of going down because they probably wasn't doing as many games. But I think they're like trying to sell off the servers or something like that. I don't know if they're selling them off, but when I read it from somewhere else, they are trying to get the games to play multiplayer still. I don't know if you need to have a certain like fan base, player base, or because let's say if only like 2 people play it, they're not really going to want to buy the servers on them, are they?
No.
So you don't want that. They don't think they're going to want to bring back servers for games that don't have anyone playing them.
Yeah.
But we don't know what's going to happen, really.
It can cause a bit of a ruckus, and it's been happening with other things as well, with other older games as well. The EA's done a bunch of things as well. It's announced that a bunch of games are going to stop having that online functionality. It happens. You just see it happening where a bunch of games that are a bit older, and you kind of think to yourself, well, who would still be playing the multiplayer on that game anyway? And then these things get shut down. But then people do turn around and say, like, no, you can't do this, and because you do have those people who are really, really into it and will stick with it because that game resonated with them on some level.
I won't lie. There was a lot of games that I actually still play. Remember I said I play a lot of games? I still play a lot of classic games that actually, I don't know if they still use GameSpy, but I play a lot of games. Yeah. So when it comes to old school, I like my old school games. So that probably will affect me down the line as well. So
yeah, I know what you mean, man. I completely know what you mean.
Sorry, continue. I really needed to say that at that point.
No, it's all good. I'm pretty much done with this topic, to be honest, because it's another one of those. Well, the companies that haven't been affected haven't been affected. The ones that have been, and the studios and the devs and whoever it is, the ones that are affected are looking for other services and other servers that they can utilize. So it's another one just to kind of, if you are into your old nostalgia games and playing them online, just kind of keep up to date with and check out what's going on, But otherwise, there's not that much else to say about that, So we can happily move on.
Yep.
Right.
I just feel sad for it. It's like the Wii U topic. It's just like, I don't really want it to go down, but it's going to go, sadly, now, that one.
Yeah, I completely agree. You want to see all these things soaring, and you want to see everything, just hitting the skies and doing amazingly. But unfortunately things will get outdated in time, and they will perform. You know, it's just a shame, but it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, man. Now, next topic. This is interesting. Our final topic as well, actually, folks, is Flappy Bird. Now, who in the chat has heard of Flappy Bird? Who in the chat has played Flappy Bird? Have you, Rev?
I never played the I never played the Android game or whatever it was on the phone game.
Yeah.
I just heard so many people talking about it constantly. I mean, it's one of those type of things. If you've been on the internet, you're gonna hear about it.
Yeah.
If you know you're a friend that has a phone, you're gonna hear about it. It's one of those type of things that people are gonna hear about it. But then after it actually like stopped, I didn't hear no one really talking about it or anything like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No one actually spoke about the fact that it's being taken down. Why? There was so many clones of the game. The same thing what we was talking about before, people copying the idea.
Yeah.
Oh, how much money did he make? Like every day, 50K a day or something like that.
50K a day from advertising, yeah.
They can do the same thing. They can make Piggy Bird or something like that. I don't know. Whatever they call it. They would take the same idea and voila, they can make money from the same game. It's mad because it was a free game.
Yeah.
So they can do whatever they want. People can just copy it. But yeah, of course I've heard of it. I did play the PC version just to see what on earth it was.
Yeah.
I played it for like, I think I got to about 5 and I was just like, forget this. I was just like, what? Why?
It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. August, right? Yep. It's coming back in August. Someone in the chat said that. People are saying if they've played it or not. You still have it on your phone, Devil's Mountain. I've still got it on my phone and iPad as well. For a while, when after it got taken down from the store, after the guy took it down from the store, people were selling phones with the rare Flappy Bird game on, and
I was just about to say that, yeah.
ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous.
They were selling for some ridiculous prices as well. It's mad. Did you actually look at them on eBay?
Yes, like they were going for thousands, and that's ridiculous.
Some of them were actually selling. I bet those people that actually, I don't know about the 1,000 ones, but some of the phones were selling. I mean, I bet some of those people now, when they see this news, they're like,
what did I do?
They'll be like, why? Why did I spend so much money? I bet they're like, I'm going to have this. I'm going to treasure it. They probably put it in a box. They wrapped it. And then they're probably going to bring it out like in the future or something like that. Say, I have the original Flappy Birds game, but now it's going to be coming back out. They're just like...
not even that, Rev, but I wonder what they said like when their friend turned around to them and was like, well, why did you do that? Flappy Fish has just come out, and Slappy Pig has just come out, and Flying Bird has just come out. So why did you do that? They're all exactly the same. Then they'd just be like, oh!
They wanted the original.
They wanted the original, man, yeah. But the reason he took it down, despite making $50K a day in ad revenue, was because he didn't like the addictive nature and how addictive people were finding it. People were losing their jobs over it. Some people have said in the chat that they can't believe he took it down, and that he panicked when his personal life changed abruptly. But at the same time, his reasons for doing so seemed pretty legit. Like, despite making $50K a day, he was saying like it was too addictive. People were ruining their lives over this stupid little fun game that you're meant to waste a couple of minutes on here and there when you switch in.
Exactly. Some people take it way too serious. That's the thing.
People actually ruin their lives playing this game, like losing their jobs and not, playing truant with school and not going to uni and da-da-da. I mean, I could never see that happening. I don't understand how you could do that with a little iOS friggin' game. What the hell's wrong with you? It might just be weird saying that. But...
It was like when we were back at school when we started playing with Pokemon cards. We didn't start going insane and everything like that, did we? Well, we probably were. But I wouldn't say we would stop going to school or anything like that just to play Pokemon cards or Pokemon on your Game Boy.
No.
It's the same type of thing. They were majorly addictive back then. But I suppose it's the fact that you wouldn't throw your Game Boy or something like that. I suppose some people probably did. But I would never want to throw mine. I probably like the fat. You remember the fat ones, the beefy ones? I've still got it. I've still got the grey one and the yellow one.
Nice.
I miss those things. But yeah, I wouldn't want to. I don't know why. It was funny when I actually found out about the fact that he actually removed it, and then when he's brought it back as well, I was like, I don't know how I don't know why he even is bringing it back. Because I know you're going to say something in a second about it, so I'll let you continue with it.
Well, I'm just reading the chat. It's people have said that he said originally it was the addictive factor but he's since said he didn't know how to deal with the sudden fame. If I was making 50k a day in ad revenue, I think I would be all right dealing with that sudden injection of fame, to be honest with you, mate. I'm not sure about you, but that is quite a lot in ad revenue. How long did he say Flappy Bird took him to make? It was like 3 days or something. It took him to make or something like that. I'm talking like Minecraft levels of development time, but even quicker. And I know he got a lot of grief from not necessarily directly Nintendo, but he got a lot of grief for allegedly stealing assets from Nintendo games. But apparently he did actually make them all himself. He did make them all himself. It's just very much likened to the Nintendo.
Exactly, using everything from it, sadly.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's a really interesting one. It will go back up. I'm not sure he'll make 50k a day, but I think he'll do all right. I think he'll do all right from it being the official Flappy Bird. But I mean, what do you reckon about that, man? What do you reckon?
The addictive factor, the fact that if you know what I'm on about, where it says he's trying to make it less addictive.
Yes.
I'm thinking that's what I thought you were going to say about it. But how can you make a game that's addictive less addictive? How are you going to do that? I mean, from just a game that you're just simply tapping, how are you going to do it? The fact, I don't know if you want to say this, that adding multiplayer makes me laugh out loud. When I read that, I was like, they're adding multiplayer to a game that's already addictive. They're going to make it just, I don't know, it's going to make it even worse. You're going to make it even worse. People are going to like have the phones like fighting each other and then throw each other at each other's heads. I don't know. But I find it funny that it's going to probably make it worse and less addictive. So
there's already a Flappy Bird MMO.
Oh,
where
really?
You can literally see hundreds of people's Flappy Birds going through the level, and like you see like where they drop off and where they die and stuff with their usernames above the Flappy Bird.
It's Dark Souls all over again.
Yeah, man.
With the bloodstains.
Absolutely, and that is just ridiculous. In terms of him making it less addictive, I don't know. And one of the addictive natures of Flappy Bird is the punishingly difficult nature of the game. So maybe he'll make it easier so that you can achieve your scores easier, or I don't know, maybe he'll cap the amount that you can play the free game without a certain amount of times a day before you have to buy it, or you have to pay money, or you have to do, I don't know, maybe, I don't know. I'm completely speculating, so, you know, I don't really know how you make it less addictive either.
I don't know. As I said, it's just going to make it even more addictive, adding the multiplayer aspect to it.
Yeah.
His own version, though. We don't know what his own version is, but we'll see. But as you just said, if they've already got an MMO, people would probably prefer to play that version. Do you know what I mean?
But then you have to be sat at your PC to do that, though. I mean, if you,
is it PC?
I think it's your PC. I think so. I don't think it's on like phones or anything, but I could be wrong.
I don't know. If it is phones, then yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
But then if it's going to be PC, then I understand. It's just like, yeah, okay, only people on the phones would definitely want to get the multiplayer version part of it. So
yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Someone said, Blood Everywhere said, take away the score. That would get rid of the addictions. Actually, that's a really good point. Taking away the score, taking away the score would get rid of it, or people at least it would really help.
It would probably annoy people if they'd be like, "But I want to know how far." But then they'll be start counting. They'll be like, 1, 2, dang. They'll be counting it constantly. I was like, wait, what was I at again? No. So it's either a good or bad thing. I don't know. Yeah. We can't tell until it comes out. It's in August. We have to wait until August. I'm not going to be playing it myself, of course, but we're going to be hearing people playing it. So
I'm on the edge of my seat personally.
Are you actually? You look it as well. Are you actually going to be playing it?
Maybe. I've still got it. I've still got the original one on my phone, so it doesn't make a difference to me. I mean, it might try and run an update on it or whatever, but it honestly doesn't make a difference. I don't have any particular attachments or nostalgia to it, so I'll happily delete it right now. But otherwise, yeah, it's Flappy Bird, and it's a stupid little iOS game. But unless you've got anything else to add to that, I think we can quite happily wrap up, man.
I think that's good. If you want to add anything to it, I don't mind.
Well, like last week, and just mention again the feedback. So guys, if you want to send your feedback to streamteam@hauppaugegaming.com, that link that's shown on the stream there, you will be entered in a chance to win some wristbands, some cool wristbands. And it does really help us, get the stream going better for you guys, so we know what's lacking. People have mentioned like the gaming side of things, having gameplay on. We have thought that because it is just like once a week, it is just a podcast. But I don't know. That's the point of sending your feedback over, and we won't know unless you send it over to there, and then you can get yourself a cheeky little wristband, which would be awesome. There's also the beta for entering the beta, which Joe's putting on the chat now. If you want to enter the Hauppauge Capture Facecam beta, you need either an HD PVR Rocket or a PVR2. You need an i5 or an i7 in your PC, and you need to send a screenshot of your system specs, proving that you can run that over to Hauppauge Gaming on Twitch. You need to message them with that info. You have a chance to be entered into the beta. Otherwise, a massive thank you to Joe for managing the stream. A massive thank you for Hauppauge Gaming as well for allowing us the privilege to do this. I hope you guys enjoyed it in the chat. I hope Hauppauge Gaming enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed this, Rev. So thank you so much for joining us as well, dude.
That's all right. Thank you very much. I still remember the bro love from earlier, so it's all good.
Of course, man.
So yeah, definitely. I thank you very much for everyone that actually allowed me on here as well. So if you ever do invite me back, that'd be awesome. So
cool, man. Cool. Are you gonna be streaming yourself after this, dude, or?
More than likely. I'm not sure what just yet, but maybe I might have to catch up with my Dark Souls.
Oh, good shout. Well, guys, go drop Revzo a cheeky little follow if you haven't already. Go catch him streaming. He's a really cool guy. You can see how enthusiastic and passionate he is, and how he engages with everyone. He does that with his chat. I've checked out his streams before. He does that with his chat. He really engages with people. He's really interactive. Really lovely chap. So go check him out. Go drop him a cheeky little follow if you want to catch some gameplay. Go check that out. Likewise, I might be streaming myself as well in a little bit. Just let me grab a cup of tea and chill out for a bit, as it were. So do feel free to drop me a cheeky follow as well. But otherwise, guys, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure, and we'll see you again same time next week.
All right.
See you later.
Have a good day, guys. Thank you very much for watching.
Cheers. Bye-bye.